Hello, and thank you so much for coming. It was a bit high, so I couldn't actually turn down the music there. It was too high on the screen. So it was a bit sudden. Anyway, thank you so much. So just mainly for those on YouTube that watch afterwards, but the website is iamfree.co.za, and the books are all online free. Just about all the books. There's loads of books from the I Am, the Bridge to Freedom, and the ADK lookbooks. And there's also lots of audiobooks now, so you can download those. You'll see the tab at the top of the website. And then there is time for questions afterwards and sharing the session and sharing the screens and what have you. And Mike's off, but then we go through the website. If people are just new to this, I suggest they go onto the website and go to where to begin, because that's got some really good information where to begin. And the YouTube links will be in the description below, and donations are obviously gratefully received, but certainly not compulsory. It's only if financially possible and if you're prompted. Anyway, so we're going to get on with it, and I thought, Jane, would you like to read the opening invocation? I know you said you'd do that for us, and I'm going to, if that's okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthea. Beloved presence of God, I am. It is thy life and intelligence that enables me to read and comprehend and absorb that which is required of me. For life, I am so grateful. Beloved Master Katumi, I ask for your feeling and your capacity to use this instruction for God's glory and mankind's comfort. We thank you. And now, great I am presence, take me within thyself. There instruct me and cause me to retain the full memory of these inner instructions. Thank you.
Well,
Thanks, Anthea.
thank you so much. And so it's an important topic, and because it's really harmony, happiness, and protection. They actually all go hand in hand. It was interesting because somebody shared one of the messages that Morgan Le Fay got about how important happiness is in maintaining our protection. Because if we allow our sort of frequencies to drop, the rents and tears come into our tube of light. So it's really important. So it's a topic that I think is important for us all to go through. And so protection is imperative, really, if we want to move forward and work closely with our iron presence and the ascended hosts. So because without the protective pillar of light, that light substance released by our iron presence, when we call for it through our decrees, we are not protected against the sinister forces. And those sinister forces are actually very active at the moment, because everything's being brought up to actually be examined and redeemed. That's why a lot of people are going through some quite challenging, interesting times on the planet at the moment. I'm sure a lot of us are aware of that. And so these sinister forces are in the psychic and astral realm, and they really have been created over millennia by humans' thoughts and feelings, humanity's thoughts and feelings. It creates like this sort of gathered up energy of a particular sort of thought or feeling, like fear or anger, or all those lower frequencies, sadness. And so that is something that creates a lot of sort of anxiety in people. And there are these demonic forces, unfortunately, but they're all being dissolved now with the light, because that light, as of 1,000 suns, is coming onto our planet. And also, we're in this time of the cosmic in-breath. So all the planets, all the suns, all the central suns, everything is moving up in vibration. So our planet's getting closer to the sun's getting closer to the central suns, and so it goes on. And from what I can understand, this is happening not just in our universe, but in all universes. It's like a cosmic moment. It's absolutely huge. Never before has the Earth gone through this, apparently, we're told by the Ascended Masters. And never before either have we had such great opportunities that we're having now for understanding the light, using the light, especially those of us that know about our own I Am presence. and the Ascended Masters on how to work with the light. So there's lots of dispensations being given, allowed now, which would never normally have been allowed, but it is because we're at this time of great change, and they want as many people as possible, to wake up to their own higher presence. And also, we always call for our loved ones and all the constructive people, places, conditions, and things really on our planet. But what we call for ourselves, we call for our loved ones and the constructive people. So important, because that is such a blessing. Because the Ascended Masters, they always answer. They do that for us. So it's just a wonderful thing. So the light rises, and that's why we daily have to call it into action. And we actually build that tube of light. So the more we call it into action, the stronger it actually gets. Because it's conscious and intelligent, and we can actually really feel that tube of light the more we call with it and the more we work with it, and it's released by our own I am presence, which is such a marvelous thing, truly. So we call, for protection. And when we maintain harmony, it doesn't get those rents and tears, because once we get, even if we get anxious, fearful, or sad, or angry, or all those lower frequencies, it causes rents and tears in our tube of light, and also in our armor of light, which we actually build and put on literally from beloved Archangel Michael. But we're going to learn a little bit more about that just a lot in this session. So the use of the violet fire is really important as well. And we have been through this already on some of these sessions, because the violet flame will literally consume and forgive the cause of the inharmony. So something might be triggering us, and it can be an etheric scar in our soul body, in our etheric body. And so that needs to be consumed, so that it doesn't keep causing us, this sort of feeling to erupt when we're faced with it. So the use of the violet fire is also absolutely imperative for this whole process, really. And to the best of our abilities, we always self-control, self-correction, self-examination, continually, always, especially at night and first thing in the morning, we might be prompted as to what we did the day before and what we need to, to start working on. So we retrain our minds and feelings to not react. We start really reining them in so they don't control us the whole time. We are actually, through the power of our I am presence, controlling our minds and feelings, as it was always meant to be. So our decrees, visualization, and faith in the light is really the key to it all. Because if we don't have faith in the light, it doesn't act, because we are the creators in our world down here. So our faith in our I am presence, the faith in the light, the faith for what we call into action is truly, really important. Yeah, we're as good as our application, visualization, and faith in it. And we always help others until they can do it for themselves. Yeah. So Archangel Michael came through, and we're going to listen to a video just now about the importance of calling to him and using his armor of light. It's very interesting what he says. He says, visualize and clothe yourself in an armor of light and feel the great power of this impenetrable tube and armor of light. And we can create a wonderful sword of blue flame as well, fashioned from Archangel Michael's sword of blue flame. And the other thing, which is really a wonderful thing to do, is to call to our own Holy Christ self, which is our higher mental body, and actually our guardian angel as well, we're told, but to fashion a mighty sword of blue flame. And we can call for ourselves, our loved ones, and all mankind, the Christ self of all mankind. Don't forget, when we make these calls, they're instantly alerted by our I am presence and the Ascended Masters. And they're all in that octave where they literally act as one. So they instantly get the message. And to use that sword and cut us free from all that was never meant to be, right back to the beginning. All the cords, permissions, contracts, energies, entities, attachments, bad habits and addictions, all not of the light. The Holy Christ self can literally cut us free and then strike into it, shatter it, dissolve it, and forgive it with the violet flame. For ourselves and all mankind, we can do this. It's a wonderful thing to do daily. And I do believe it's truly helpful. So we put on that armor of light every day. Even when we look here, we can see the Christ self in that threefold flame, which, as we know, is the anchorage anchored in our heart. It's the love, the wisdom and power, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This Holy Spirit being the feeling, the Son, which is the Son, S-U-N, as well as S-O-N, sons and daughters, which is the center, the illumination, and then the power, faith, and protection with the blue flame. And so that's, you'll see there's a sort of blue flame there. So the Christ self is constantly cutting it free. We need to call it into action. It's just a wonderful thing. The mighty Hercules says, never leave your room without your armor of light. Never leave your room. I'll never forget reading that. And I thought, gosh, that's quite something. And so now we're going to listen to this video and about protection. This is important information from the beloved Ascended Masters given to A.D.K. Look from the book Law of Life, Book 1. And this is what she says. It is about the pillar of protective light, which is very, very important for each one of us to call forth and build every day. And she says, in the beginning, when individuals came forth, there was a natural protection around each one. It was not a self-conscious creation. But as the discord of mankind increased, rents and tears were imposed upon it, and it diminished more and more, until it was practically gone. Now we need to go into action, apply the law, and again build this pillar of protection. This time we do it consciously. Being a conscious creation, it cannot be dissipated as before. In some teachings, something is known about this protection, but it has been more or less vague. Sometimes it is called a tube, belt, or a circle. The pillar of light was originally about 9 feet in diameter. It was really the stream of light from our I Am Presence, or the silver cord. As mankind became more and more discordant, the silver cord became smaller and smaller. That was mercy to the outer self, because if too much energy were released into its use, it would have annihilated itself by misqualifying the energy. The silver cord is made up of a stream of electronic energy. That is the stream of life, and the connection of the outer self with its source. It is pure energy, primal life, unqualified. It takes on the qualification according to the free will of the individual. So this primal life is elemental substance, which is charged or vowed to obey the creative principle, to obey the threefold flame in the heart, according to free will. This is how mankind created discord and also the accumulated good in the causal body. This protective pillar is a tube or pillar of pure light substance, invisible to the ordinary sight, but it can be seen with the inner sight. It is not hollow inside like a tube. There is light all the way through like a pillar, in, through, and around your body, for a radius of about 3 or up to 9 feet, condensed at the outer edge to form a thick wall to make it impenetrable to anything not of the light. In the beginning, as we call this tube of light into action, it is better to visualize it only about 6 feet in diameter until one has gained a momentum. It is charged in, through, and around the physical body. It extends from above the head to below the feet, giving protection to the inner bodies as well as the physical body. Have the feeling, the consciousness of it as a living thing, an action, not as a cut and dried mold or form. It is light in action, and it is vibrating, and it responds to our love and our calls and our faith in it. It can be drawn forth from your presence of life, and through daily application become absolutely invincible to discord or anything not of the light. Not one thing can go through that pillar of light. You know all evil returns to the sender. When we get our protection around us, it is reverted right back. Otherwise, it is a more lengthy process. And as we know now, we can put all that misqualified energy that comes to us in the violet flame for transmutation and forgiveness. There are cases of those known as masters in India who can stand and let someone shoot at them with a 24 caliber rifle. The bullet goes to about 3 feet from the body, flattens and falls to the ground. This shows it came up against something, an obstruction it could not penetrate. That is the Master's pillar of light, which he has drawn about himself. This has been witnessed many times by travellers in India and by army and navy men in service. This pillar of light is formed by the release of light energy from the presence. It is projected from its hands, heart, and head, and also by the intensification or expansion of one's own light through the points of light within every cell of our bodies. Aside from protection, this pillar of light is a constant radiance of perfection pouring off and absorbed by your bodies. The very atmosphere is electronic substance. The presence might gather it to make this pillar of light invincible. It is up to us to keep the feelings so harmonized that discord won't break through. We should then always maintain harmony in the feelings. Power of qualification, vision, and attention are our weapons of invincible protection. Archangel Michael has also suggested that the protective armor of light, fashioned from his armor of light, be used. This is what he says. Beloved ones, there are certain vicious conditions active in the astral realm into which I would not think of entering without first putting on an entire armor of light. Yet so often we see you, through mighty decrees, plunging into mass creations of sickness and disease and all manner of distress, just clothed in those tubes of light, which you have drawn about you without full faith in their adequacy, and which you puncture every few moments by discordant thought, feeling, spoken word, or deed. I am very grateful indeed that you do call those tubes of light forth, and that you are strengthening them as you continue to call for them, and then hold more and more uninterrupted harmony in your worlds. Now, why do you think I have offered you again and again the use of my armor of light? Please use it, for it is, of course, to completely enfold you in my feelings of protection, my helmet, armor, sword, shield, cross of Christ. Please put them on and use them before you go into action, dealing with powers of certain concentrated viciousness of which your outer self knows nothing. So there we have a very important addition, that we daily need to call into action the gift of Archangel Michael's armor of light. We may speak to our beloved I Am Presence in love, as we would speak to a father. We might say, Beloved magic I Am Presence, Archangel Michael and those that minister to the crystal blue flame of protection, intensify your protective pillar of pure light substance and Archangel Michael's armor of light in, through, and around me, charged with your invincible protection, all-powerful and impenetrable, which keeps me absolutely insulated to everything not of the light, and keep it sustained and ever-intensifying in action. Make and keep me ever sensitive to you and your direction, and immune to all imperfect vibratory rates. Mighty I Am Presence, see to it that I am invisible, I am invincible, I am invulnerable to anything but thy almighty perfection. And what we call for ourselves, we call for our loved ones and for all the constructive people, places, conditions, and things in, through, and around our entire planet. And we thank you. Then we visualize it in, through, and around our physical bodies for about 3 feet, or as far as our outstretched arm will reach, seeing the edge thick like a wall of light. We see it around our loved ones, our homes, our business, affairs, our supply, and for all those standing up for truth, justice, and freedom everywhere throughout our beloved earth. Of course, it must be understood that the pillar of light is an inner action, therefore a fourth dimensional activity. The pillar of protection is pliable and will bend or conform to circumstances. It can give us protection from destructive forces emanating from a person sitting next to us or even touching our physical bodies. This pillar of light can become invincible protection against everything of a discordant quality in the outer world. Thereby one can be disconnected from the mass pressure of discord of mankind that is in the atmosphere. One must have more than ordinary protection when entering the stream of life. In the morning always charge the pillar of light with cosmic divine love. You can charge it to dissolve every particle of discord that we contact during the day. Also charge it with acceptance and confidence of the power of light. Okay, so that's, yeah, it's always a good thing. We had a workshop today, and I was just reminding them of this lovely story that I heard one time, which I read. It's a true story of a young chap who got off the bus, and a school bus. He was in his early teens, and he had a friend, it was a young girl who was sitting next to him. She got off at the same time, and she turned round to him after they'd got off the bus, and she said to him, "Do you know that you are clothed in an armor of light? I can see you've got an armor of light around you." Obviously, she got her inner sight open. And he said, "Oh my gosh," because he said, "My mother always tells me that she puts an armor of light on me." So it's just really, it's so real. And it's a lovely thing to also clothe our own loved ones, in an armor of light too. So, and those ones that we feel need it over the world. So it's lovely. Okay, this is lovely. This is the 12 laws of karma. It's the Buddhic teachings, but it just is so important because, if we can keep within these 12 laws of karma, it helps greatly with maintaining our harmony and maintaining a feeling of happiness and inner peace. Because whatever we sow, we reap. So this is just lovely instruction, I believe.
The 12 laws of karma that will change your life. The great law: whatever energy and thoughts you put out to the universe, you get back, be it good or bad. The law of creation: life won't just happen to you. You need to take action and make things happen rather than wait for everything to magically work out for you. The law of humility: being humble enough to accept and understand that your current situation is a result of your past actions. The law of growth: control yourself, not others, and focus on your own personal growth, as real changes starts with you. The law of responsibility: whatever happens in your life, it happens because of you, so you need to own it. You are the choices you make. The law of connection: your past, present, and future, everything is connected. Your past actions determine who you are today, and your present will decide who you will be tomorrow. The law of focus: focus on one thing at a time, and as long as your focus is on spiritual values, you won't have any greedy and negative thoughts. The law of giving: give to the things you believe in from your heart. Understand and acknowledge that your actions are a reflection of your inherent beliefs. The law of here and now: living in the present moment is the only way to be truly happy. Holding on to the past and obsessing about the future will make you unhappy. The law of chance: history keeps on repeating itself unless you learn your lessons and change your life. If you notice dramatic changes, it means you are growing. The law of patience and reward: success requires patience, consistent hard work, and the self-assurance that you will get the rewards for your efforts. The law of significance and inspiration: be it big or small, every contribution you make influences the universe. Your positive actions will bring more positivity into your life.
Okay, it stopped suddenly because of TikTok. But anyway, so this is good from the beloved Mahachohan. So he says, what you are conscious of is your consciousness. Because a lot of people talk about states of consciousness. I mean, it is, it's mentioned a lot in the teachings and in New Age teachings. Just often people talk about our state of consciousness. So he says it is a very simple and clear expression when carefully thought through and understood. A man who is conscious only of the physical body and the appetites and passions of the senses lives in the state of consciousness of the animal man, or what is called the body consciousness. The whole purpose of evolution is to develop a godly state of consciousness, in that which the individual is only aware of that which is true, good, and eternal. But also it's good to remember that we have 4 bodies. We have in this lower realm, we have our physical body, which is our vehicle. And then we have our etheric body, which is our soul, which is the memory body of everything good and bad ever done in any embodiment. And then we have our mental and emotional bodies. The mental and emotional bodies are the ones that need to be really worked on and controlled. But I think it was the beloved Mahachohan, Paul, said, if you can liken your 4 bodies to like a vehicle, the tires or the wheels of the 4 vehicle, and if we're focusing very much, say, on the physical side of life or maintaining the physical body, we have like tractor wheels, tractor tires, he said. And if there's very little time spent on the spiritual side, we have cotton reels there. And when then the other 2 bodies, when they're not, looked after well or started to work, we don't start working on them, they're also small. And then we have a bumpy ride on our road, which makes such sense. It's really about maintaining harmony and balancing all our bodies. Not too much focus on anyone or focus, just keeping it all in balance. So if harmony is sustained, victory is assured. This is what beloved mighty cosmic being Victory said. He says, beloved friends of my heart of the planet Earth, I come tonight to bring you the God victorious qualification of my life, the fully gathered cosmic momentum of energy, which is mine, resulting from my use of the gift of primal life through the ages. If harmony is sustained, victory is assured. They go on and on about us maintaining harmony. So upon the planet Venus, from whence I come, there is no such thing as failure, disease, or compromise with imperfection. And there's no death, there's none of those things, which we used to have as we know, as the Garden of Eden, when we were living according to divine wisdom. Eden means divine wisdom. And this is from beloved Rumi. I love this. If you are irritated by every rub, how will your mirror be polished? That's such a good way. We were looking at. Anyway, the beloved Mahachohan says the importance of harmony. He says, holding to the law of harmony, keeping an aura of undisturbed and sustained peace, and expressing self-control, not anger, irritation, self-pity, fear, pride, or sadness, is a prerequisite on the path to ascension. And we will be tested. So we all get tested until we're master of it, because that is how it all works out. Apparently Serapis Bey, and we know he's that mighty beloved seraphim, and he's the Chohan of the 4th ray of purity and ascension. But he is often the one, apparently, who, especially with the earnest and sincere Chelas, is the one that works with our iron presence to create these situations that test us. So we know that everything that is trying or difficult for us to go through is just an initiation, a test. And if we look at it like that, it's much easier to handle. Saint Germain says we avoid persons, places, conditions, and things when we haven't mastered ourselves. So if people are triggering us, we have work to do on ourselves. And the great divine director always says, and so does Saint Germain, he says it's never about the other. It's always about ourselves, because whatever we've sown in this life or past lives, we are reaping. So that we know that that's the way the law is. So we are just going through what we have sown in other times. Yeah. Beloved Mahachohan says, this is a world of cause and its ultimate effect. It acts under the natural law of the circle called the cosmic law. So everything we experience has a former cause. It's as simple as that. So habits to become aware of. Now, people don't like these two slides too much, but I feel it's important for us to go through them in order to actually maintain the harmony. It's just what the Ascended Masters tell us. So habits, so they slow down our progress. So as we said earlier, constant self-examination, self-correction is essential. And these are the 7 mortal sins. So in other words, these sins that we commit down here. They say anger, malice, and hatred. So we need to nip them in the bud and stop them. fear of anything. We need to work on ourselves, self-examine ourselves and see what is it that we actually, triggers us to feel fearful, including all superstition, etc. Because it really is just lack of faith, and greed and gluttony, covetous, lust and passion, lethargy and laziness, envy and desire for personal power, and pride and arrogance. And only we can know what's acting in us. We can never, ever point fingers because we never know what's acting in another because we're not them. And so while they might appear to be doing something, and also it's just not for us to judge anybody. Our thing is we send them light. We call to our own presence to bring the light needed because that's the only safe and good way to do things. That we just see what's acting in us and we nip it in the bud and we put it in the violet flame of forgiveness and mercy and try not to recreate it. Okay, so due to the frequency, the vibrational frequency and the cause and effects, this is what Saint Germain says in the Magic Presence. And we have to remember that we can't serve two masters. So drugs, and they're talking about the mind-altering drugs, the substance abuse, really. And this includes all those things that are mind-altering, because it actually is like an open door to the sinister forces. So we have to be really aware and be careful of that. And just to avoid them, because the only safe way is to actually do it through our own iron presence and our Christ self, because it knows exactly when we are ready to receive whatever we need and when the doors need to be opened for us. So there's no quick fixes with mushrooms and all that kind of stuff, because often the soul can literally get captured in that psychic realm, apparently. So we have to just be careful. Alcohol, because that's also mind altering. And the Sender Masters refer to it as the dark magician's water, because it is just a distraction. And we can never finish our day if we've been drinking, go have that holy time that we so need. They say we need to avoid meat, and this includes fish and chicken, mainly because it actually creates fear in our bodies, because the animals, whether it's chicken, fish, or the other animals that give the meat, they are very, very fearful when they're killed, and that actually sinks into their flesh body and into their mental and emotional bodies. They've also got mental and emotional bodies, and then this merges with our own emotional bodies and just causes fear. So they say we can never truly be free of fear until we stop eating it. Also, it's very cruel. It's a cruel thing. It's not a happy industry at all. And our physical body is not designed to eat meat. We don't, the meat-eating animals have short, smooth colon. They have very strong acid in their colon. They have claws. They pant when they're tired, when they need, whereas we perspire through the skin like all vegetarian animals. We have long undulating colons like animal, vegetarian animals. So there's nothing in our physical body actually that's akin to eating meat either. So, and they also say to avoid tobacco because it acts almost like a smoke screen. It infiltrates the brain and cuts off the impulses coming down from our iron presence. They also suggest not eating garlic or raw onion, and this can cause a lot of distress with people. But the reason is because it makes our bodies smell, especially our breaths. We have this very bad smell of garlic and raw onion. It seems to be cooked onion seems to go sweet. It doesn't seem to have the same problem. But even the ancient sects like the Hare Krishnas, the Brahma Kumaris, the Jains, all these ancient Indian sects, they don't eat it because it actually, Saint Germain, it actually attracts lower energies, even can attract disembodied entities because they live off that smell. And so it's constantly disturbing to our bodies. And people say, oh, but garlic's so good for you. It's actually not. It's very strong. It's very actually quite toxic. And you can make a great pesticide with this, which is proof, with the garlic, proof that it is toxic. So in the time of the plagues and the time, where there was a lot of sickness and what have you, the people used to cut the onions in half and put it on the other side of the room, and the negative energy would leave the body and go to the onion, because it literally is like that. And so it would draw the sickness out of the body, because it's all energy and vibration. Everything truly is energy and vibration. And they'd hang garlic outside of them. So that, that's also proof of it. But anyway, I'm just telling you what they say. And then excessive, and certainly not to be fanatical. And they don't want us to become fanatical about anything. And we certainly don't share it with anybody unless they ask. It's not for us to push anything on anybody else, or to become fanatical, pushing it on people. But they say excessive use of sugar, strong coffee, and we need salt, but not excessive amounts of salt. But there's no harm in having a cup of coffee and a piece of cake or whatever it is, but it's not something we're going to live on, because that's just not good for our physical bodies. And then they say to avoid bright pillar box red and black. Pillar box red, because pillar box red actually stimulates the lower chakras, and the chakras at the base chakra always used to be pure white. It was never red. It was only when we fell from grace the chakra colors actually started to change, and red was used. But if you look at things like the signs of danger, it's always red. You've got the red light district, that's the misuse of the sexual energy. So there's all that kind of wrong stimulation. And if you look at the primary colors, it's not red, yellow, and blue. If you look at the colors that go into the printer, it's that magenta color, which is pink. And then you've got the yellow and the blue. So that's also a proof for us. And then black is kind of devoid of light. So they don't emit the music, because everything actually emits music. And, every sound has color and music. So we want to, and we also draw in blessings, but we'll learn a little. We've got another slide coming up for that. But we avoid becoming fanatical zealots. And so it's like that. The Ascended Master's motto is to know, to dare, to do, and to be silent. So we become just examples, And so this is what the Ascended Master said about marijuana. And this was in the 1930s, but now it's obviously got a lot worse, because there are these hardcore drugs that go out. But they said that the greatest menace of the people of the world was dope, which is marijuana. It had made a great inroad in America by the sinister force in a cunning, secret way. The danger of it confronted the young people who are needed for the incoming golden age. The use of this poisonous substance opens one whereby the sinister force can seize upon one's feelings and make him or her unfit to cope with situations as they arrived. They said it has wrecked nations century after century. So it's just really something to be aware of. It was typically in the 60s, and the hippies, when it was really meant to be the beginning of the age of freedom. And they got caught in that drugs. And most of them were like under drug abuse. This is what they say about the importance of correct colors. They say colors give off a vibration and a sound, and we absorb these vibrations and sounds into our minds and feelings, bodies and world when we look upon them. Wearing and surrounding ourselves with bright, clear, happy colors and avoiding excessive use of black, bright fire engine red is extremely beneficial to our health, happiness, and success. So good, clean, clear, bright colors are magnets to the rivers of blessings from the realms of light, the source of all perfection. So that's why it's good to wear good, clean, happy colors. And most want to take the easy road. They don't want to change. It's a story like that. Not that it's up to us to point any fingers, but often, unfortunately, people have one foot in the light and one foot in the dark, and they wonder why things are not changing, but actually very little light is received, because we're not trustworthy with the light if we're not really taking it seriously. So it's always good to remember that. All right, so now nothing changes if we don't do things differently. I love this, such a beautiful image of the butterfly too. So we know that we've got to change our ways to get different results. All right, so now we're going to, this is an interesting one. One of the Chilas, was one of the Chilas in Cape Town. They got a clear message that we needed to make this video. So it's a little bit, can be a little bit distressing, but it's important to listen to. It's 8 disturbing things that can happen if we don't take time to be holy. And it's just simple instruction. Yeah. Chaff unto a mighty wind. This is an excerpt from The Magic Presence by Godfrey Ray King, a discourse from beloved Saint Germain. He says, the outer world likes to flatter its vanity by the feeling that it has the ability to accomplish great things. But so far as the control and perfection of the feeling is concerned, the outer world is still in a savage state. Human beings sting each other, as well as themselves, through vicious feelings, just as surely as does the scorpion. The predominant feeling in our modern world is terrifically vicious when personalities are opposing and criticizing those who disagree with them. So-called civilized people commit murder every day of the week through sending out angry and irritated feelings that kill the higher impulses in others. It is the feeling of the race that needs to be redeemed and saved from its own self-generated destruction. Until the individual understands the need of self-control in regard to his feelings in the waking consciousness, it is impossible to maintain any permanent forward movement of a constructive nature. All the accomplishment that is not attained through the feeling of divine love is but temporary, for divine love alone is the way to permanent perfection. It is pitiful to see how for centuries the human race has occupied its time and used its energy to build up things through thought, and at the same time tear its creation to pieces by inharmonious feelings. It is childish and is a stubborn refusal to fulfill the eternal plan of perfection. The hour is at hand when the great cosmic law which governs this system of worlds is releasing a tremendous expansion of the light of the mighty iron presence throughout our group of planets, and whatever cannot accept the power of that light is consumed thereby. So mankind need no longer fool itself with the idea that it can generate destructive feeling and survive. The end of the former dispensation has come, and all things are made new. Let him who runs read, that he may learn the ways of light while there is yet time. There is no evil anywhere on this earth, or any other, except that which human beings have generated themselves, sometime, somewhere. Most of it has been done through ignorance, but a great deal has been done willfully by those who ought to know better, and who are fully aware of their wrongdoing. The individual who uses his intellect to foster destructive activities in the new cycle into which we have recently entered must face his own destruction, for its recoil is inevitable. It will be swift and definite, for the present activity is expressing such speed that the recoil is many times only a matter of hours, weeks, or months at most, where, heretofore, it has been a matter of years. The Ascended Masters work ceaselessly to have humanity understand and see this. There is a great cosmic wheel of progress which affects our entire Earth. It governs the expansion of light in the entire system to which this planet belongs. When that wheel turns to a certain point, and it is nearer than mankind realizes, it will focus certain rays of energy upon the Earth. Then the resistance to greater good that is set up by puny, selfish personalities and unawakened mentalities will be as chaff before a mighty wind. The efforts of those human beings will be useless, and they will be compelled to obey a power far greater than their own selfish cravings. Sorry, I put the wrong video up. I was touring with the idea of using that one or the other one. I thought I'd use the other one, but anyway, if you want to listen to the other one, it's on the YouTube channel. So if you go onto the website, the iamfree.co.za, you'll see YouTube there, and then you'll see right at the top the YouTube page, actually, which comes up on the website, has quite a few different links to different YouTube channels. But the one right at the top is the I Am Free YouTube channel. So it's on there. And you'll find it on YouTube if you listen to this on YouTube as well. So the 8 disturbing things that happen if we don't take time to be holy. Anyway, so the violet fire is really the flame of freedom. And it is, isn't it? It's just truly something that we need to use whenever we need throughout the day, but definitely morning and night, to continually forgive and set all life free that we have ever hurt or harmed, or that has hurt or harmed us. All those etheric records out of the light. So that's why it's so important. All right, this one, I think this one is, this is the poem. Oh, no, it's not. Let me just see what this one is and how much time we've got. We haven't got that much time. Let me just see here. Okay, I'm actually not going to play this now. I'm going to move straight on. I don't think we've got time. And, but I'm going straight on to a poem, which is a good thing to listen to as well. So I'm going to skip this. I am that I am. You wake in the morning without a single word. Your mind in turmoil. You reach for your phone. Your perceived lifeline, thin, spindly and weak. Just one more look, one more peek. You scan the messages. Your heart starts racing. Your feet touch the floor and you start pacing. And never a moment for me. I call from above, but your heart doesn't hear. Your mind's in control, your feelings in fear. I am beating your heart and giving you life, but no time for thanks. It's all turmoil and strife. It's all on a platter. I give you free will. You don't have to toil and grind at the mill. You have the choice to take the pill, the red or the blue. The choice is true. Your destiny unfolding, your future teetering. You walk, you talk, you laugh and you love. You drink, you smoke, never looking above. Fame, fortune, status, your guards. They have no meaning in my realm of perfection, but I give you the choice, you make the selection. The ladder unstable, it wobbles, it cracks. Desperate you scramble to reach the top. You waste your time on idle chatter, gossip, a habit you need to shatter. You helter, you skelter, you run for shelter. Your happiness brief as you drink the coffee, a dinner for kings, and so many things. You check on the kids doing their beds, your past in control, the messy future mapped out. You have flashes of hope, but mainly you doubt. Your life a reflection of the work to be done, a mirror so clear, but you're on the run. Busy, busy, blaming and shaming, forgetting that all is your own creation. Your life never still, my voice never heard. You help the few, but you miss the cue. My power is unlimited, my light supreme, but the cause must come from the realm in need. The burdens you carry, it is a shame, as you chase money, status and fame, seeking your happiness in the shifting sands. Gone in an instant, only worry remains. You want others to save you and raise you up, but only I can fill your cup. Then one bright day, when things are too hard, and everything around you is falling apart, you sit very quietly and look into your heart, and there I am waiting. We are never apart. I have all the answers, you just need to ask. Forgiveness complete, I wipe out all sorrow, no more depression, a shining tomorrow. I am your anchor, I am your lifeline. Halve your busyness, make the time. I am above, I am below. I am all the wealth and all the health. No need for struggle, no need for stealth. I bring you gifts, beyond your wildest dreams. I am your comfort and sweet release. I am your love, your happiness and peace. I am in the flowers, the air and the trees. I am permanent and I never cease. I bring all that is good, but cannot be seen. Your faith is the key, forever happy and free. I am the power, I am the authority. Be still and know I am your life. Never wavering, always certain, within, without, and all about. I can give you protection far stronger than steel. And if you're sincere, mistakes all forgiven. All burdens removed, right back to the beginning. I can smooth the path and make it so easy. Mine is the task, but you must ask. Be still and listen carefully. I make no mistakes. I am in you, you are in me. I am you, you are me. We are one. Take my hand, it is waiting. Too long you're searching, you're wandering and wavering. Now is the time to open the door and never, ever again to fall. Yeah, so that's a poem. It's quite a good one. So was it like I think things to think about. So this is famous from our beloved Saint Germain. As we know, it is probably the most famous thing he's ever said, and it's really, he says it's just says it all. It says it all. So where our attention is, there we are, and what we focus on, we bring or force into our lives and world. And that is just so true. It is. We are the creators of our worlds. And these, just before we end off, I just always like to remind us, it's so good to be reminded by the Buddhic teachings. They say, before we speak, let our words pass through three gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind? It's always a good thing. So our thoughts, as we know, are every bit as powerful as our words. So in order to maintain that harmony, we have to really watch what we're thinking. And we have to watch them carefully. We nip them in the bud if they're not good. So tell the mental and the emotional bodies to be quiet. They're conscious, intelligent, individualized bodies, which can be, which we can communicate with. And the very and great importance of daily taking time to be holy, morning and night, is just so crucial. So our freedom comes from our own dedication, constancy, and discipline. It brings great joy and peace. And really, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot who really do feel the great joy and peace as we work much more closely with our own eye presence and the Ascended Master. So we never miss a day of doing our decrees morning and night, because the light rises. And there's no other way to actually free ourselves from the bondage of our own creation. We need to call in that light to protect us and transmute all misuse of life back to the beginning. Yeah. So that is for today, and sorry for the mix-up of the video, but I was just thinking, Trish, would you like to read the closing invocation? Do you have a screen to do that?
Yes, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Closing invocation. Before ending the session, we all say with our mics muted, Beloved, I am presence, and beloved Master Katumi, nourish the seeds planted in my consciousness, so that the ideas entrusted to me become manifest flowers of perfect expression in my world and the world of all my fellow men. Beloved presence of God, I am. Pour the light of thy great glory upon my consciousness and nourish the seeds planted by the masters. We thank you.
Thank you so much, Trish. Bless you. I'm going to finish off now. Let's just take a moment of deep gratitude. Gratitude to our own our presence. Gratitude to the beloved great ascended masters, the legions of light, for bringing these wonderful teachings for us. And just gratitude for our wonderful beloved world and all that serves us. Thank you. Yeah, so marvelous. I'm just going to stop the recording now.